In this module, I'd like to talk a little bit about why it's so easy to get hooked on bad habits. How come bad habits seem easier to form than good habits? And what can we do about that? How do we actually break a bad habit? It's a good question and an important one. And in order to understand it, we need to talk about how the brain works, how it's wired and designed, and what that means for the difference between good behaviors and bad behaviors. And it really comes down to a concept that researchers refer to as time inconsistency, or hyperbolic discounting if you're in behavioral economics. And the idea is that we treat time differently in our brains for present things and future things. In fact, you can actually think of your brain as divided amongst the present self, the person that's here in this moment right now, and the future self, the person that you plan for, that you think about, that you want to become a year from now or 5 years from now or even a day from now. And these two selves, the present self and the future self, scientists have found that they actually value things differently. So for example, when you set a goal for yourself, like I want to lose 50 pounds, or I want to save more money for retirement, those are goals for your future self. You're thinking about the type of person you want to be in a year, or the type of outcomes and gains that you want to have in a year, and what you would like to achieve. And so those future rewards, those long-term rewards, are actually easier for your brain to consider and value when you think about your future self. However, when it comes time to act on those rewards, when we're in the moment, it's time to save the money, it's time to go to the gym, then you're no longer dealing with the future self. You're dealing with the present self, right? You're at the time when we must take an action, we must make a choice. And the present self, unfortunately, does not value long-term rewards. It values pleasure in the moment, immediate gratification, more than long-term outcomes. And so this conflict between the present self valuing immediate gratification and the future self wanting long-term rewards and payoffs is why we run into an issue of, I say that I want one thing, right? I go to bed and I think, I really need to work out tomorrow. This is important to me. I'm going to actually do this. And then I wake up and I think, I'd rather just sleep in, or I get home from a long day at work and I need to relax. I'm exhausted. I want to watch Netflix. And the difference between those two things is the difference between planning for the future self while you lay in bed the night before and taking the action that the present self wants, the immediate gratification the next day. And so the balance between these two informs us in an interesting way. It gives us an insight into why bad habits are so easy to form, because we're just falling back into whatever the immediate gratification and pleasure is in the moment. But it also gives us an insight into how we can break bad habits, what we can do to help manage that. And one of the things that we can do is to shift the rewards of the future and pull them into the present moment. The other thing that we can do is to take the gratification of the present moment and make it more painful, to add some type of immediate pain in addition to the immediate pleasure, and hopefully make bad habits less likely to occur because of that. Now, how do we actually do those two things? Well, we're going to share some strategies in the next lesson. So go ahead and I'll see you there.